Hello, everyone. My name's Laura Huisking. I'm the Director of Marketing for Generations Counseling and Care Management. I know a few of you came in person and I was able to talk to you in person, which was exciting. But for those of you who didn't get a chance to pick up your ingredients yesterday, my company is called Generations Counseling and Care Management. It's a family-run geriatric care management firm that is celebrating its 35th year in business. Hooray! Thank you.
Congrats.
We provide psychotherapy services that are all covered by Medicare and private pay care management services. So basically that means we provide assessments and care plans with monitoring, intervention, and advocacy services. And it always serves the best interest of our clients. So we're thrilled to be a part of this wonderful presentation along with Dean and Michele. So Dean Brown, please tell us about the Bristal.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, my name is Dean Brown. I'm the Director of Business Development for the Bristal Assisted Living. And we are right there off of Hamburg Turnpike. Everyone knows where the Wayne Hills Diner is, so we're right across the street from there. We are assisted living plus memory care. We've been in that location for almost 2 years now. If you want a tour of our beautiful community, I will have my information on the chat, and I will be able to set that up for you. And our other locations in New Jersey are, I always say, the 3 W's: Waldwick, Wayne, Wicklake, and Inglewood. And our 5th location, it is actually Somerset, and I do not do that one. But we have 5 locations in New Jersey. All of them have assisted living plus memory care. And glad to have you guys here today. I actually got to see some of you yesterday when you picked up the recipes. Looking forward to Michele and her great cooking today. So thank you very much for coming.
All right, so I'm going to turn the program over to our lovely chef, and she's going to kick things off and get us started.
Okay, how do I see me? Okay, all right. Hello, everyone. My name is Michele de Rogatis. My company is Chefs for Seniors. We are an in-home personal chef company. I service Essex and Passaic County, but there are 4 other franchises in the state of New Jersey. So somebody's actually texting, where can we pick the stuff up for baking? Laura, if you can you see that?
Yeah, so we actually, in the invite, we told everyone to pick up the ingredients yesterday at the Wayne Y.
But if you want to come over to the Wayne Y, I do have the bags here. So, but yes, I am Chefs for Seniors, and I service Essex and Passaic County, as well as parts of Morris and Union County. And I'm totally looking forward to seeing everyone's results when they do bake their Irish soda bread. So everyone's Irish at this time of the year. So, but I am going to start with the bag that we gave everyone who came and picked up their ingredients, okay? So as you can see, here is the lovely Bristal bag, and in it are all the ingredients for your Irish soda bread, okay? We have an egg, 4 cups of flour, a 1 3/4 cups of buttermilk, as well as a small container of buttermilk. What the small container of buttermilk will be for is the coating of the Irish soda bread, the outside. So this will be before you actually cook it. Okay, there's butter, and if everyone listened to me when they picked up their bag yesterday, they've left the butter out and it's nearly melted. That you're going to mix with the buttermilk for the outside. You have 4 tablespoons of sugar. You have a tablespoon of salt. And if you notice that the salt is pink, it's Himalayan pink sea salt. I like it a little better taste-wise. You can use less of it, and it's still got the same flavoring as regular salt, and it's healthier for you. You have a teaspoon of baking powder. You have a tablespoon of baking soda, and the baking soda actually will expand the bread rather than having a very dense bread. And then you've got raisins, which are optional. I'm giving everyone the option to use raisins. That's why I packed it, as well as putting it on there as an option. There are so many other things that you can actually use in there to flavor it. You can use lemon zest. You can use currants, which Ina Garten, who has this lovely recipe, she used currants. I personally don't like currants in the Irish soda bread because they pop and they leave too much moisture in there. What I didn't put in the bag, but I let people know who picked up their bag, you can also use margarine. And the margarine, if you put it into the mix, the margarine will actually make the inside of the bread like softer. I like my soda bread softer rather than that harder Irish soda bread. So you can use margarine in there. If you do, just use 1/4 cup less of the buttermilk. Okay. So I'm going to start mixing the ingredients. So once I put my mixer on, it will be loud. So I won't be talking as much. The first thing you do though, is you take your egg at room temperature. You take your egg and you mix it up. You don't have to do it like this, but you can. You're going to do dry ingredients, wet ingredients, dry ingredients, wet ingredients. Okay, so I take the 1 container and I'll put it into the mixer. And then I'm going to take, another thing. I use pre-sifted flour. So if you use pre-sifted flour, you don't have to sift through your flour. And it does make a fluffier soda bread. So if you buy the pre-sifted, ShopRite has the brand. If you buy the pre-sifted, it saves you a lot of time and effort. Okay. Next is the baking powder. Now the recipe I gave you doesn't call for baking powder, but I think that makes it fluffier. So I use baking powder. Okay, next is the baking soda. Okay, now you're going to put some wet ingredients in.
Michelle, we have a question. Malika says she doesn't have a mixer. Can she do it by hand?
She can. You can use a mix master if you don't have it. You can use a whisk. The whisk will be a little bit more, it's going to be a little tougher, or you can use your hands. The only thing I tell you to do with your hands is not to over mix it. When you do, like if you're doing a meatball, you mix in the meat, the more you play with the dough, the tougher it'll get. So if you're using your hand, try to fold and try to mix. And then once it feels tacky, you take it out and you put it on a floured board. That'll work. Okay. Next, I'm putting in that margarine I told you about.
Supposed to be doing this with you?
I'm sorry?
Are we supposed to be doing this now with you?
If you'd like. If not, you don't have to.
Will we get the printed directions?
Yes.
Okay.
I have them. I already have an attachment, and you'll get them right after this is done. I'll send everyone on the list. Okay. So I'm going to take that 3/4 cup of buttermilk and put that in there, as well as the egg that I've just mixed up. And now a moment of silence. Okay. Mix that up.
That is not as loud as I thought it was going to be.
No, but it will start jumping in a minute. I don't know why it does that. See?
Can you show the table? You can see the table. We only see you.
Okay.
Can you show the table?
I can. 1 second. Or how do I, it sounds terrible, but I hope you edit this. How do I put where I can see myself on the screen? And now I can't hear you at all.
I pinned you. So if
Okay.
you go to your view and you put speaker view, it should work.
Okay. Okay, where's the view? Meeting information view. Here we go. Okay. No, I'm on speaker view. Oh, there we go. And I just can't see. Can you see the mixer?
I can see the mixer.
Okay. All right. You're going to cut off my head, but that's okay. I'd rather you see what I'm doing. Okay. So I'm mixing right now. This is half of the dry ingredients. Okay. I'm going to do this again. Okay. Now I'm going to put in the sugar, which is 4 tablespoons.
Michelle, you are on mute, so just take yourself off mute.
Okay.
There you go.
Hear me? Okay. And then the additional flour. So I added the additional buttermilk. I added the sugar, and now I'm adding the additional flour. Okay. And this is where you put in your raisins.
We have another question from the lovely Malika with the Shamrock headband. She wanted to know if you could use brown sugar or agave.
Agave would be too wet. You would have to add a little bit more flour, but agave would definitely be too wet. I'd say brown sugar will take the taste and kick it up a notch, sweetness wise. You can try it, but I don't recommend it. So, but you can try it. Okay, here we go again. So while this is mixing up, I like to flour my board. I said it gets loud. I like to flour my board. I like to take about a half a cup. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I like to take about a half a cup and just line my board with the flour. And this is what you're going to get when you're done. You're going to get this big blob. Okay, it's going to be wet, but this is the consistency that you want. You don't want, if it's thinner, when you put it on the board, put more flour on the board if it's too thin. So if it's too wet and you feel it's too wet, okay, it's not going to come out. You're going to put it on the board. I'm going to move the camera down again so you can see the board and you can watch as I knead the dough. Okay, see the dough? Okay, when you knead, you want to push in with your palms and you want to flip over. Push in and flip over. You want to make sure you do this a couple times, but you don't want to over knead the dough because what's going to happen is it's going to become tough. Okay. So I'm kneading the dough.
That was very soothing to watch. I don't know about you ladies, but it was very, ladies and gentlemen, it was very soothing to watch you do that.
Yeah, well, thank you. Okay, so now what I found with this recipe is that we have a giant loaf. Okay, you can cut this in half and you can make two smaller loaves. You can actually freeze half of it if you wanted to. This will grow, so you can do it either way. But I personally, I like the big one. So this is what it should look like. See?
Ooh,
Yes.
ah.
So I did push it into a smaller ball, but this will expand. This will grow to probably double its size. You don't have to let this sit. It doesn't have to cure. You can put it in exactly the way it is right now. Okay, I'm gonna get my board. I'm using my pizza oven for this. So I'm using my pizza board. Okay, I kind of like the way it cooks. It's a little bit more even. It's almost like a pizza. You're going to put it on the board, and I'm going to flip it down again. You're going to put it on the board, and you can either use a knife or you can use a scissor. either way, and you put an X right in the middle. That kind of lets the air go in, and it makes it rise even more. Okay, now we're gonna take that butter that we had before and that extra buttermilk, and we're going to put it in, whatever you'd like to put it in, but you're going to melt it, the butter, and then you're going to put it on the outside of the soda bread. What that'll do is, if you like it crispier, don't use the buttermilk. If you like it softer, use the buttermilk. I like the outside not really hard and firm. I like it a little bit softer. You could take your hands too. Okay, so you're going to, prior to this, I preheated my oven at 375. You can do it a little bit higher if you want to crisp it up. So you could put it on for 375 for about 25 minutes. And then the last 10 minutes, you can put it on 400 and the outside will actually get crispier. So I'm going to put this in the oven, 1 second. I'm going to wash the hands.
Very important.
Very important.
I'm so glad that you explained the X because I always see it and I never knew what the reason for that was.
Yes, so what'll happen is the loaf will continue to rise. This kind of gives it a pocket, and sometimes I'll put, my husband doesn't like when I do it, but sometimes I'll put like butter right in the X, and it'll actually bubble in and flow. So I decided to do a little Julia Childs because I love her.
Oh, can you give us a little bit of your Julia Child impression?
Oh, yes, I can. Oh. Well, I don't have my wine glass out and I'm not spilling it everywhere. So I do have some pre-made. So I'm going to show you the final results.
Ooh, this is exciting.
Okay, and that's what your Irish soda bread should look like when it's done. So if you do the smaller loaves, it'll actually be about half, okay? But you can see where the X was, it actually grew, okay? And the X actually split the bread, and right in the middle is nice and soft. So you can see it's soft. If you go here, it's a little crunchier, okay? But right here is soft. So that's where I would cut the bread. I'd start there and work my way through it.
Perfect.
So, does anyone, that's such an easy
That was
recipe.
yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back to gallery view. So that way we can see everybody.
And then we'll ask questions.
Yes. Does anybody want to take themselves off mute and ask questions of our lovely chef who did an excellent Julia Child impression?
I just missed my wine.
So yeah, please, we have a couple more minutes. So please ask her your questions if you'd like.
Oh, wait, I have a question in the gallery.
How much baking powder did you say you use?
Baking powder, you use a teaspoon, 1 teaspoon. And it will, as you can see, does the baking powder actually does help it to rise.
What did you say about, is it the baking powder or baking soda?
Okay.
They made a comment.
Yes, in the recipe, it doesn't show the baking powder, but I put a teaspoon of baking powder in there.
Okay.
Okay. I found when I experimented with the baking powder, the bread got softer and it rose a little bit more.
Better than the soda.
You use both.
Oh, you use both?
Yes, you use both baking soda and baking powder.
This way.
You like that recipe?
I do this.
Yes, that's my recipe.
Yeah, well, the baking powder's not on here, but you put it in it.
I do.
And how much?
A teaspoon. Anyone in the gallery have questions?
I do. You have
Yes.
2 containers with the white powders.
Yes.
The small one is the soda?
The small one is the baking powder. That's 1
Okay,
tablespoon is the baking soda.
it looks like there's like 2 tablespoons in here.
Yeah, there's 1 tablespoon. I measured it out.
And the other one is a teaspoon.
Yes,
Okay,
yes. You might find that there might be, when it comes to the flour, it might be a little off. I made sure I filled it right to the brim, but other than that, everything else is, I measured out. I was putting it all together. Okay. Anyone else have questions?
1 tablespoon
Yes.
of the powder and a teaspoon,
Now, a tablespoon of the soda.
a tablespoon of the soda?
Yes. Oh, it's a tablespoon.
Okay, tablespoon?
Yes.
All right.
And I'll fix that before I send it out.
Okay. And
So any other questions?
Have you tried with the self-rising flour? Have you?
I have tried the self-rising flour. I use the sifted flour. I think I get the best results out of that. That's a very good question. The self-rising flour has yeast and a lot of it. So it will rise, and this one has no yeast in it. So it's sifted flour, so there's no yeast in it.
Okay, so that's what you gave us, the sifted flour.
Yes. So
Great. Okay.
what you might find with the yeast is that your bread is going to be very dense. So
Wow.
I've tried both ways. It'll be very dense, and it's a very heavy bread when you use the yeast. So I don't ever use the yeast.
you don't use what?
I don't use yeast.
Oh, yeast.
Yes,
Yeast is never mixed.
it shouldn't be. But if you do the pre-done flour, it has yeast in it. So, but it's a good question. But I also love, one of my favorite things in Irish soda bread is the lemon. I love the lemon zest because what that does with the raisins is it like amplifies the flavor. And if I like these, I did not use, I didn't use the lemon, but if I don't use the lemon, I will, if I don't use the lemon, I'll put lemon curd on the Irish soda bread. So that's my preference, is to have that lemon because it's a nice flavoring to it.
How much lemon zest do you put in?
As much as you like.
Mike? Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
If you like a ton of the lemon flavor, use as much as you want. So you only use the zest, you don't use the actual lemon juice because that will make your dough very watery.
Okay.
Yes, Aggie. You want to say yes?
With lemon zest?
Lemon zest.
Is that like in a bottle or?
No, lemon zest is actually the peel. So if you have the zester, yes,
Oh, okay.
you zest it and you can zest it right over it.
I see.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Anybody have anything else?
I don't think so.
Comments?
thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Very welcome. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see all of you again. I hope to be doing more of these. The next few that I'll be doing, hopefully with Laura and Dean, I would like to do something taking a little bit more time and teaching people how to take comfort foods and making them healthy.
Ooh, that's a
That sounds
one.
good.
Yes.
That sounds very good.
Yes. So I'd like to, if you have ideas, shoot me an email for the next one. But I think what I really like to do is maybe like a meatloaf, turning it from meatloaf that's really not healthy and turning it into something healthy.
I would like that.
Any other suggestions, please?
Yeah, so everyone had a good time today?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna
Thank you.
switch off the recording.